Now we head to Cleveland, Ohio, to the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court for the sentencing of convicted serial killer Michael Madison. Madison's been convicted on 3 counts of aggravated murder for the killing and mutilation of 3 young women in Ohio. As part of the hearing, Van Terry, the father of one of Madison's victims, steps up to the podium to make a victim impact statement. Mr. Terry's now just a few feet away from the man who so brutally took the life of his daughter, Sherelda.
Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown who's touched our families, taken my child.
He's looking directly at Madison. Van Terry is released without charges. A short time later, County Judge Nancy McDonald hands down Madison's sentence. Michael Madison is sentenced to death and will now live.
Hello, Your Honor.
State your name.
Mr. Greenman.
Can you tell me your name?
Roy Greenman.
First up, we're in the Orange County Courthouse in Orlando, Florida, where Dale Roy Greenman is in a bond hearing for theft charges. He's accused of stealing a pack of cigarettes, a Bic lighter, and a Gatorade from a 7-Eleven. According to police reports, Greenman walked into the store, placed the items on the counter, then decided to walk out without paying. He faces misdemeanor charges of petty theft. The hearing begins rather cordially.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Hello, Your Honor.
State your name.
Mr. Greenman.
Can you tell me your name?
Roy Greenman.
But Greenman, whose bond is set at $250, listens closely when Judge Carly Wish asks the state if they have a better offer that might get him out of any jail time.
You were arrested for petty theft. Did you find probable cause? Miss Kenny Swanson, did you have an offer?
I did not, Your Honor.
No offer? Is that due to the out-of-state criminal history?
Yes, Your Honor.
Prior to today's hearing, Greenman was charged with tampering with evidence in another case, which potentially elevates his current misdemeanor charge. And Judge Wish is about to break the news.
So, Mr. Greenman, you have prior history out of state, and so the state may enhance this offense to a felony based on your prior. So I can't do anything with your case today. I am gonna appoint the public defender for you.
That's horse. You do whatever the you want.
Excuse me?
My name is Mr. Greenman. I'm the federal witness of the United States federal government. I demand some respect, you. Let's get a jail crowd along y'all did and figure out what you're doing.
All right, he can be removed once y'all get him out.
Now.
Greenman erupts after the judge tells him that the state may raise his charges from a misdemeanor to a felony.
You're not.
That's horse. You do whatever the you want.
Excuse me?
My name is Mr.
2 officials on hand move in swiftly to restrain Greenman. But before they grab his wrists, he rips off his mask and begins shouting that he's a federal witness.
Mr. Greenman, I'm the federal witness of the United States federal government. I demand some respect, you.
Greenman's hauled out of the courtroom and back into custody. Then Judge Wish, seemingly unfazed by the outburst, just carries on with the business of the day without missing a beat.
All right then. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And I'm gonna set his bond at $1,000.
A few moments later, the 2 officials return to sanitize the podium. Dale Roy Greenman's bond was increased from $250 to $1,000. According to court documents, he was released on reconnaissance a week later, which means he signed a document promising that he'd appear at his next court date. Shocker, Greenman failed to show up at that pretrial hearing, and a warrant was issued for his arrest.
All right, Miss Cook, come on up.
The woman being sworn in is
You can't raise your
18-year-old
right hand, we'll
Keandria
swear
Cook. Cook's in court today to receive a sentence for using a dating app to set up a robbery
All right,
that
then we,
ended with
accept
another
the pleas
teen
on
being
Miss Cook's
shot.
cases.
The teen survived. Cook has accepted a plea deal that will drop a conspiracy charge, which carried a maximum penalty of life in prison. But counts of carjacking, attempted carjacking with a deadly weapon, and felony battery are still in play.
I just want to say to you, I'm asking for forgiveness as much as I get a chance so I can get out and finish school and I can make my mama proud because I want to be her first child to bring home a high school diploma. And I just want to make my mama proud. That's it.
Cook now prepares to hear her sentence as her loved ones look on.
Ms. Cook, you're before the court for sentencing. A couple of things going in your favor. One, you didn't hold a firearm during these episodes. The second is that the victim luckily survived. That being said, this was intentional. It was an orchestrated ambush, and you are a main part of that. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and adjudicate you guilty of all 3 charges, sentence you to 20 years in state prison. Concurrent as to the first 2 counts.
The crying you hear is coming from Cook's mother. The sentence much more severe than they expected.
Charges. All fines and costs. No.
It turns out that Cook and her mother's reactions were so intense because they believed the plea deal meant no prison time. Judge Foxman allows her to enter a new plea deal, citing miscommunication between Cook and the assistant public defender. As a result of that new deal, Cook's sentence is reduced to 11 years in. We start things off in the El Paso County Courthouse in El Paso, Texas.
All right.
Please be seated. The record should reflect the attorneys for the state, the attorneys for the accused are present in the courtroom.
The man you see here is 41-year-old Daniel Villegas, accused of killing 2 teens in 1993 when he was just 16. At that time, without an attorney or his parents present, Villegas says he was coerced by an El Paso detective into confessing to the murders. Despite recanting the confession hours later, it became a key piece of evidence for the prosecution.
Are present in the courtroom. The court has received a message from the jury indicating that they've reached a verdict.
Villegas has been on trial 3 separate times for this crime and has maintained his innocence throughout.
Let's bring the jury in.
His first trial in 1994 ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. A 1995 retrial ended with a conviction for capital murder, and Villegas was sentenced to life in prison. After spending 18 years in prison, that verdict was thrown out in 2013 because of ineffective assistance of counsel. Villegas was released in January of 2014 and has remained out on bond as he awaited a 3rd trial. During that time, he fathered 2 children. Though the prosecution continued to insist on his guilt, there was no DNA, no firearm, and no forensic evidence presented linking Villegas to the shooting.
If the defendant will please stand.
The last 25 years of his life, much of it in prison, has all led up to this moment.
In the District Court of El Paso County, Texas, 409th Judicial District, the state of Texas versus Daniel Villegas, number 94-0D09328. Verdict Form B. We, the jury, find the defendant Daniel Villegas not guilty of
For the first time since he was 16 years old, 25 years ago, Daniel Villegas is a free man.
Mr. Villegas, you have been under many conditions in this court. You are no longer under any conditions in this court. You are free to leave. Good luck, kids.
Your Honor, my client and I have reviewed the pre-sentence report in this matter. We don't find any factual errors.
This is 17-year-old Donta Wright. Wright's in court today to receive his sentence for the shooting death of high school student Jordan Klee. He's pled guilty to armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, a felony firearm violation, and second-degree murder. As part of the sentencing, a family member makes a victim impact statement on behalf of the victim's mother, who's too overcome with emotion to speak.
I sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son was worth the next at least 52 years of your continued existence. You won't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away.
Wright's demeanor during this statement is not what you might expect.
Your actions have led you to a prison cell that have also created an empty cell that I live in every day. While you can still hope to be released one day, I'll never escape my help. You are still alive, but Jordan has no future. Thank you, Your Honor. We're done.
Wright and his attorney approach the podium.
Your Honor, my client wants to address the court.
Oh, of course. Yes, sir. Mr. Wright, what would you like to say?
I just want to tell y'all, I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
That opportunity could have been used to show remorse to the court for his actions. It wasn't.
You know, I have never in 23 years approximately ever not accepted a sentence agreement between the parties because it's bargained for, sentenced by the parties. But watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
The judge does have the authority to reject the plea deal.
Mr. Bella, do you want me to accept this sentence agreement?
Your Honor, before I answer the court's question, I would like an opportunity to discuss it with the victim's family.
Okay.
If the court would pass it, I would appreciate
I'd be
it.
happy to do that. We'll pass this matter.
It's now up to the prosecution to decide whether or not to dismiss the agreement and pursue a trial.
I have had a very lengthy discussion with the victim's mother as well as his grandparents and some family members. They understand that obviously this is the defendant who brutally murdered their son by shooting him in the back of the head. He's shown absolutely no remorse. However, the Klee family does want to move on with this. They want to get some closure from this case. And they want to try and forgive this defendant, even though all of his actions for what he did. And they are asking, as well as the people, that you proceed with the sentencing.
Okay.
Wright has another opportunity to address the court, this time through his attorney.
Your Honor, my client asked me to apologize to the court. His smiling was in no way meant as disrespectful either to the family, to the victim, or to this court. My client is 17 years old. He has some emotional problems and frankly was scared. And some people display fear by smiling. He really meant no disrespect. He does take this very seriously, and I think he does feel bad about it.
The judge accepts the sentencing agreement, which puts him behind bars for 25 to 52 years.